Hey, it is Andy from FensePost once again, and today we are looking at Acid House Kings and their 1997 sophomore album, Advantage Acid House Kings. Acid House Kings came onto the scene in about 1992 with their debut album, Pop, Look, and Listen. At the time, they created very lo-fi twee, kind of influenced by C86 and Sarah Records. Hailing from Sweden, there have been a lot of different bands that kind of fit that realm and that genre, especially around that time. Acid House Kings was one. The trio that you see here include Johan Angergård and his brother Niklas, as well as Joakim Ödlund. Ultimately, they invited Julia Lannerheim to guest on a few songs. She would ultimately go on to join the band later. When the band formed in 1992, they set forth with a 3-album, 10-year plan, releasing one every 5 years, one in 1992, 1997, and 2002. This here obviously is the 1997 album. And if you look back to a lot of those reviews, you see a common theme. They talk a little bit about the lo-fi aspects of Pop, Look, and Listen, and how this was a big step forward. And you do hear that. It's still very twee, it's still a hint of lo-fi, very much indie pop, but it is a step forward from some of those early songs. Now, I haven't really listened to Pop, Look, and Listen in its entirety, but I have heard many things off of it, as I have a number of singles from those days in my collection. And Advantage Acid House Kings definitely takes things up a notch, both in the production quality as well as in the songwriting, as you'd expect with a sophomore release. So let's take a look at the record. This here is the Labrador reissue. Got all the lyrics on the back. You can see based on the Labrador logo there. It was originally released in 1997 on CD in a few different countries, not in the US. 1998, though, Shelflife Records released the vinyl version, the first vinyl version, with also a CD version. Now, this has always been a little bit of a hard album to find, kind of like any of those earlier Acid House Kings releases. The band returned in 2011 for, I think, their 5th album. And with that release, Labrador, which was actually the merging of Labrador Records and Johan Angergård's Summershine Records imprint, Labrador came out and released Advantage Acid House Kings, Mondays Are Like Tuesdays and Tuesdays Are Like Wednesdays, which was the 3rd installment of that trio of records, and Sing Along with Acid House Kings, all on vinyl. I do have those in my collection, and we'll be talking about those in the near future. That being said, Advantage Acid House Kings is a pretty solid album. I like it. It's a bit twee for my taste these days, but it's always a fun one to go back and return to from time to time. Thematically, twee, you tend to get that kind of like little indie pop, hopeless romantic, lots of songs about love, all that kind of stuff. And let's take a look. Yes, You Love Me, Family Friend, which talks about kind of dating a family friend. Heaven's Just a Kiss Away, First Time, A Lover's Weekend. You know, I mean, all these songs are about love. It's pretty minimal from a vinyl standpoint. There is nothing on the inside but the record. So let's take a look at that. Nothing spectacular or unique about this. It's just black vinyl. And I don't really know if the label is any different than the original Shelflife release or anything along those lines. So the only thing that really differentiates this, say, from the Shelflife Records release is, frankly, the logo on the back of the sleeve. All right, so I'm Andy from FensePost, the music and vinyl blog. Feel free to hop over to FensePost.com, link in the description, for more reviews and all of that kind of good stuff. You'll see images of the albums, you'll see highlights from the releases, music videos, sound clips, all that kind of stuff. And I talk a little bit more about the history of each of these individual records, as well as, well, the music itself, as after all, they are also album reviews. Check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.